Hey, Squad Coach Troy here now. I picked up this murder mystery game the other day and it's time to solve some crime. Let's get into it. An unidentified body is discovered in a dark Chicago alley. The only evidence at the crime scene is the victim's wallet. As the lead investigator, you'll need to use the items inside the wallet to unlock the clues. Use both the physical and online evidence to identify the victim, discover the motive, and ultimately reveal the killer. One victim, one wallet, one killer case. So 3. Alright, so it sounds like this one is a little different than a lot of the other cold case files or murder mystery games that I have played. Looks like you're just going to have a wallet to start off with, and I guess that makes sense looking at this much smaller box than usual. So I guess inside we just got a wallet and we'll go from there. Alright, first thing I'm seeing here is a map of Chicago. Just a little black and white map. No, nothing big here, and on the back you got space for your notes. Also in here we got our training manual. And look at that, here's our wallet. Ain't that neat? Now this is actually just made of paper. It's like an origami wallet. That's kind of neat, but I guess that's how they keep the price down. But yeah, fold it up inside, look at that. You got business cards, you got pictures with stuff written on the back. And paper notes. Ooh, with an email on there. Oh my, in here there's all kinds of stuff. Receipts. Is that a menu? Coupon? Ooh, a QR code. I bet that leads to something. And this is actually plastic. This debit card is, how you know when they sometimes will mail you that you are pre-approved for one? They'll give you that little cardboard one that'll have your name on there and like a bunch of zeros for the number. That's exactly what this thing is here. Cash and Cow. Genuine leather. Except it's paper. I don't know, that's killing me. This wallet's killing me. That's neat. What a gimmick. Alright. So this is the extent of our evidence in this wallet. Alright, so definitely much smaller than some of the other cases. And then here we go. This is our training manual. And this is going to have all your stuff right here. It's got like more of the story, the setup, how to play. So it looks like you're going to have to get your phone out here. You're going to scan this QR code and get to it. There is a website and an access code. So you don't have to use your phone. You can use a computer. I usually like using the computer better than one of these things because I'm old. My eyesight ain't great. Let's get solving some crimes. And just like that, another murder solved thanks to these rock-solid detective skills. Using all this information here, I was able to piece it together and solve a murder, but mostly, I was using my phone. So unfortunately, just as I thought, this stuff here definitely played a role, but not a huge role. It was just more of a starting point, and you didn't really go back to this a whole lot. Every now and again you did, but mostly everything was on your phone. So after a while, you don't even need any of this information anymore. You're just going to keep using the phone. All the evidence builds up, and the story continues here. That being said, it was an interesting layout to how they did this. On the website, there were constantly different questions, and you'd use whatever evidence here or new evidence found on the phone, interviews with different people, suspects, and whatnot. And that would build and build and build, and so your portfolio would build, and your evidence pile would build, and you'd constantly be referring back to that to find out the answers to the next questions. And the questions would kind of guide you along through the story. So every time you answered more questions right, new things would open up, and then you would progress. You'd interview more people. You'd find new things. And I will actually say I was surprised by the story and how it kept going. It wasn't just a simple, all right, use this, figure out who it was, and done. No, it kept growing, and there were twists, and things would change, and new evidence would pop up. And so that was actually very interesting. I would actually say that despite the small size of the box, there was a bigger story in here that you get a lot of times with different murder mystery cases. Difficulty-wise, it was not the most difficult one. I would say it's kind of on the easier side. I think a big part of that was the fact that the questions would kind of guide you as you're going along to figure out what the next steps were. And if you did get stuck, you could just use hints and they would help guide you along a little bit, kind of nudge you in the right direction. But if you did need answers to the questions, they were provided. Lengthwise, I'm a little embarrassed. It took me a little bit longer, but I was also a little bit distracted. I was checking out some other things. That's the problem. That's why I don't like using the phone so much, because I end up looking at other things. I get distracted, so I'm not focusing on the story. I mean, I mostly did, but every now and again something would pop up, somebody would message me, and I would get distracted, then I find myself looking at something else for about 5-10 minutes before I get myself back on track. But overall, though, I did enjoy it. I did have a good time. It was fun, and I would say it actually exceeded my expectations. I wasn't expecting much, to tell you the truth. I mean, looking just at the size of the box, not much here. Looking at this, not much here. But unfortunately, though, like I said, most of it does come back to looking on your phone or computer. So you end up having to have several windows open to go back and forth to look at different evidence. It actually probably helps I should have used my computer and my phone. I think that would have made it much easier, so I'm not going back and forth so much. So if you do end up doing this, I will say use your computer and use your phone as well. And say I did this by myself, just because it's all contained on one phone. I don't think it would be great for multiple people, like groups of people. Probably not the best. But as a solo, a couple hours to spare, yeah, it's a good time. And again, if you can find this cheap like I did, I'd go for it. So all in all, if you like murder mysteries, you don't mind messing with your phone electronics a lot, and you are okay with just a small footprint here, which is probably for the best, then yeah, I'd say go for it. It's not going to be the most difficult, not the most challenging, but I think you'll have a good time with it. That being said, nice thing about this, I get to repack it, and I can pass it along to a friend of mine, and then I can see how they enjoyed it as well. So let me know if you guys end up playing this. Did you like the story? Did you like the challenge? Did you like the twist ending? This is Coach Troy, and I'll be looking forward to the next murder. Ooh, that sounds a little grim. All right, I'll see y'all next time.